Announced they would not renew their sponsorship of the professional running club and the Forentu Running Academy. They said the decision was taken following a strategic reshape of the business in June. The club has such names as Caroline Wostmann, Rene Kalmer, Nolene, Conrad and Kesa Molotsane in their stable. To tell us a little bit more about this is a head of financial services in the Western Cape and chairman of the club, Pierre Jacobs. He joins us from our Sea Point studio now. Very good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Valen. Thanks very much for having me.
What's going to happen? Over the course of 3 years, the club has worked with over 33 elite athletes and over 670 normal members of the club. What's going to happen now?
So, Valen, we've been working quite hard the last couple of days. We've got a prospectus that we've prepared and we've got every intention to keep the club together. I think we had 3 absolutely wonderful years with KPMG and the support from them, not only financially but otherwise, was fantastic. I think it was evident in the thank yous that all the athletes from across our club actually expressed over the last couple of days. So we are, as an EXCO, working hard to gain another corporate as a sponsor and keep our family together. And you know, there's a lot to be done. We've got high aspirations, and I've been extremely thankful. I've spoken to a lot of the elites personally myself, and also Dana and Rene did the same. And without exception, all the athletes has pledged to stay with us until we find a new home and a new sponsor. And as you've said, you know, rightly, that the Forentu High School Running Academy that we have in Johannesburg is part of the setup and is an integral part of the club, and we intend to take them with us.
What has been the reaction from the academy?
Well, I think, like everybody else, you know, there's disappointment, but there's full understanding for the circumstances and the decision that's been taken, and we have to respect that. We have been involved with the academy for 5 years, you know, and it is a personal baby of mine. And, you know, I've assured Hans Estad, the principal and the coach there, that we'll make a plan, and we're going to take this forward and continue the development that we're doing at Forentu. Because as someone said to me, you know, just yesterday, it is the prime incubator of middle and long distance running in this country. So we're going to take it forward, and yeah, I've got some ambitious plans around that as well.
Pierre, you sit in a unique position because not only are you chairman of the club and you want to, as you said earlier, keep the family together as you guys look for a new sponsor, but you're also, once upon a time, the man that saw the value in actually motivating your board to sponsor a running team. Why did it make sense then?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think in South Africa, corporates are a little scared of sport because they are, I don't want to say fixated, but there's a lot of emphasis on the top 3 being cricket, rugby and football. I think if you look at running as a sport, you know, it's fully diversified, it's fully transformed. You go to any races and you yourself do that on a regular basis. There's all races, all ages, all shapes and sizes, sexes. Children are involved. And the thing is, it's not a spectator sport for starters. So everybody that's involved, you know, for their own health and well-being, that's an important aspect. But I think as a corporate, you can select where your entry level is. It's very low. You know, for people to participate in the sport, you need a pair of running shoes and a road, and off you go. So I think that's a key aspect. And whether you want to go all the way like we have done with a professional club, employee club and an academy, that's one way. But you can get involved in your local community clubs, be it with an event, with a smaller, you know, you can sponsor 2 or 3 athletes. And you know all the stories around what we have done with, you know, Anda and Cape Town. You know, he's been collecting trolleys at Pick and Pay and Help Pay. Then we bring him on board and he starts to perform. He comes second in one of the national marathons. And from there, one helps him to develop. So there's a lot of good news stories around it. And it ticks all the boxes, as I said, with regard to transformation and diversity. And it's well-being. And there's a feel-good factor around running and exercise that you don't get in any other sport. So I think it ticks a lot of boxes for a corporate to get involved.
Pierre, just quickly, Old Mutual, we've heard that they're going to be pulling out. KPMG's another big corporate pulling out of the sport. This is not good for road running, and especially because road running is in such a healthy state at the moment in South Africa.
Yes, well, I think, for me, and I'll just be quick, I think there are four things. One is, when it comes to Athletics South Africa, we don't market the sport well enough. And that's direct marketing with regards to getting new sponsors or just marketing the sport in general. I think that's not great, and that needs to be done by a professional body to support them. I think the development, again, we tend to select very small teams. We don't give our long and middle distance athletes the opportunity to develop. If you look at something like sprinting, where we've dipped our toe in the water and allowed us to develop, and there's an array of sprinters coming through. If I told you 5 years ago that we will compete in the 4x100 relay with the United States and Jamaica, Valen, you would have laughed at me. You would have said that is absolutely impossible. But we took these youngsters to international events and they developed. And look where we are today. If the US and Jamaica sees South Africa is in the mix, they've got something to think about. As I said, the corporates need to get involved. Corporate South Africa, doesn't matter at what level. We've got 3 sports, and the other 2 I would add is netball and hockey. We've got to get involved in whatever way. You don't need a lot of money to make a difference. This is about your heart, it's about your passion, and it's not only about the money. To support an athlete, it's around, when there are good times and bad times, there's loss of form, there are injuries. You need to be a broker, if you like. Bring them together with nutritionists, maybe a technical sponsor, a doctor, a medical team. There's so many things that you can do as a corporate without just purely investing rands and cents. And then lastly, I think the media has a role to play. And here, I feel strongly that we are fixated on the big 3. You open the newspaper at the back page, you go to the digital platforms, it doesn't matter, it's just rugby, cricket, football, and the other sports don't get a fair chance. And we need all 4 of those things to work together to help us to get road running especially, and athletics in the wider remit, back onto the front foot. We've got the talent, and we can go a long way if we do those 4 things right.
Thank you very much, Pierre Jacobs. He's the Head of Financial Services in the Western Cape and is also Chairman of the KPMG Running Club. KPMG announcing on Monday that they are pulling out of the 4-2 Running Academy as well as their elite club. Pierre, thank you very much for your time on Morning Live today. That's how we come to the end of your sport in this hour. There'll be